Welcome to the Shine Freely podcast. I'm Vicky. And for me, life is about going on an epic adventure to find the indestructible light inside of ourselves and to share it freely. My wish for you is the same as my wish for me, that we may shine freely. Hello, Alison.
Hi, Vicky.
Thanks for being here. It's so wonderful to connect with you. I would love for you to start by just sharing, your background, your life experience, a little bit about the path that has led you here, so the audience can know a bit about you.
Okay, so my name is Alison Deborah Sinatra, and I live in High Falls, New York, upstate New York, 2 hours from the city with my husband and my two children, my two teenage children, and my experience. So I've been a yoga teacher since 2001, and I have been leading women's healing spaces for that exact amount of time. That just happened to be what it was for me. Um, I am a medicine woman and have been on the medicine path for almost a little under 20 years now. And that is a big part of my life and what brought my life to me. My husband, my children, my moving out of the city, my ability to hold space. I took the compassionate inquiry program with my dear sister here, Vicky,
Mhm.
um, last year or 2 years ago. I don't even
I think it's
remember.
been two.
Yeah, let me look at my certificate. Um, and that was really life affirming for me, to engage with people in the body in a whole other level and really recognizing the what the inner child does to us and with us and for us.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's a little biography about myself.
Wow.
There's many more things, but that's sort of the meat of it right now. And I work privately with people doing somatic ritual prayer work. I'm also a breathwork facilitator, and yeah, I do all sorts of ritual for like girls who are just receiving their moon cycle, and for women who um, also have been bleeding for many years but never had that celebration of life done. Or
Mm.
I work with people who are getting married or people who are passing, and so that's a big part of my work is ritualizing moments that need to be anchored in one's spiritual calendar so that you
Mm.
can really move through grief celebration in a sacred way, so it helps the person feel more aligned in their life, and of course it always helps me as well. um, However, whenever I facilitate I always receive for myself, so maybe it's all selfish, I don't know.
Well, I am here to say we should all do more of that. No, that's awesome. Wow. And what a massive need in the world. What a beautiful gift you're giving to the world.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for doing that. I'm excited to know you so that I can be
Yeah.
part of these ceremonies more in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really amazing just listening to that short description, like how many of those things that you're engaged in have been such influential parts of my life and my healing process just in the last 2 or 3 years. And I was sharing with you right before we came on, the last time I saw you a little over a year ago, or a bit over a year ago now, I think. It was really a major milestone for me in breaking through depression that I had been in for about 3 or 4 years, and had really been working quite diligently, I'd say, to try to get the hell out of it. It was so painful. And sharing the compassionate inquiry training experience with you was huge in that process. And then also connecting with the plant medicine work was huge. And there's actually a few more things that I'll get to later in the conversation here that I'd love to hear you talk more about. So, but I
Mhm.
just wanted to start by really celebrating that and giving thanks for that relief and the ways that my world has opened up so much, and really thank you for the role that you played in that.
Thank you so much, and hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah. It's a beautiful thing.
Hallelujah, girl.
Yeah. And I hope anyone who's in that place right now can just know that like you can get through it, you will get through it, and just keep going because
Mhm.
what's on the other side is So beautiful.
Mhm.
So, maybe I'll start by asking, well, let's just start by kind of grounding ourselves in this current moment that, our human family is in, which is a bit of a wild one. And there's all kinds of words that we could use to describe it. I'm curious, how do you think of or describe or see this season of humanity that we're in?
Mhm. I talk a lot about this with all of my sisters and friends, obviously, because that's where we're at. And for me, well, like we were talking a little bit before this, there's the great mystery that creator, God, the good, the one that's unnamed, holy one, whatever you want to call it, or the trees or the water, and whatever
Mhm.
your orientation is, or none of that at all. But to me, I have a relationship with Mother, Father, God, with Creator that's very strong. And so there is this faith in me that there is a mystery that we don't know, that there is some sort of divine order to it all, even within the destruction, the violence, the hatred, the separation. And the only way I know that I can feel that this is true for me, and I always keep a little space open that this is wrong as well inside of myself.
Mm.
Um, because I am active for calling for peace. It's not like I'm an inactive voice, but I have faith because of the healing circles that I'm in and seeing the depth of the ancestral healing that is happening for people in
Mm.
such an accelerated time and depth, and the celebration of that and the clearing that's happening for people in real time gives me a lot of faith. My children and how lack of judgment they have, their
Mm.
connection to themselves, their point of view, the way they orientate themselves gives me a lot of faith in the future. So for me, it is like that wound of separation that has been cycling around for eternity, maybe for when the soul first entered the body, and the longing and the separation. Who knows? I don't know. I think about it, but it's, you know, is like that, the war, the destruction, the violence, the vitriol, the right, the left, the blue, the all the things that are like all the things that are separating us constantly is also bringing a wave of unity and togetherness that to me is real. That to me I can feel just with the women that I have the great fortune of working with. And
Hallelujah.
yeah, and so I feel, and also the earth has always had cycles of extinction.
Hmm.
And there is something becoming extinct in our world, and for me, like the fires are like, what happens to all the unbridled, misguided sexual energy? What happens
Mm.
with all the anger that's misguided? What happens to the energy of the violence, all the killing? Where does that go? And for me, okay, so here's the fires that just destroy. And then the floods, it's like, well, where does all this grief go that is so suppressed and
Mm.
depressed and repressed? Where does it go? And if we believe the Mother Earth is the mother, which I do, one of the great mothers, and the waters is one of the great mothers, and the fire is the grandfather. There's only so much a mother can take.
Mm.
There's only so much lack of appreciation and lack of honesty that one can take before Kali comes out and has to destroy, you know, for the benefit of all beings. So that's where a little bit of how I think about it and how I feel about it. And my heart is broken every single day.
So wonderful to hear all of those words. Thank you so much for your authenticity and sharing them. And another one of the reasons why I was so excited to talk to you is because I see you as one of these people who has this, as you described at the beginning, really strong faith and really, openness to seeing this wave of healing that's taking place and that will only I mean, it seems inevitable. There will only be more healing in the future. There has to be, and
Mhm.
there's so many incredible changes happening in this world. And at the same time, the depth of the pain is just mind blowing. And to really be able to be aware of both of those truths at the same time and to make space for them inside your own heart and your own body, it's really rare, I think, to find people who can really hold space for the beauty and the destruction at the same time. And I'm really amazed at the way you do that. Really grateful to know you for that reason.
Thank you. And that's, I mean, if we have faith that everything is a reflection of creation, then I'm going to have to double down on that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to have to double down on that. You know, it was, you know, it was the same thing during COVID. Like I doubled down on my plant medicines. I doubled down on my prayer life. I doubled down on my honoring of life and not being scared of life. Like that was
Mm,
important to me. It was the same thing. So it's the same thing with all the destruction. It's like I'm doubling down. I've got to like walk my walk or like, what am I doing?
yeah. Wow. Um, you know, you the way you described the energies and the way they interact with the earth is so profound. It's something that I'm only just very beginning to understand or beginning to notice. Because it's actually quite easy to just notice, it's not like you have to go get some advanced degree to understand that like our energy and our body is related to the energy in the earth. Um, and I guess the more and more I see that as like a really two-way relationship, I have two questions for you. One is like, how can we like look to the earth and our relationship with the earth to help to support our healing? And
Mhm,
then, after that, then how can we also help the earth and support
mhm,
her and everything she's going
mhm.
through? What can you tell us about that?
Thank you. So yeah, the one thing to sort of like start with is like I've been in many ceremonies where the weather pattern changes after, like directly connected to all that just transpired,
Yeah.
because the Mother Earth composts and I have felt her happy
Mm.
after people have released very deep things, like the sun breaks out or there's a soft rain or, it's like you said really beautifully, it is a two-way relationship, you know? So the first thing I would say, like some simple ways of grounding, like of connecting to the earth. And I'm still learning to like really like I'm like a girl from upper middle class, like Jersey. So like was like my interaction with Earth like super earthy, like super like get dirty, like that. Like like not totally. Like I'm still like I plant things in the ground and like am like good luck, girls. I really hope you the best, So I am like still getting it together in this department. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But with like ways of really supporting oneself, like I'll hear all the time, I feel super ungrounded. I feel like, super ungrounded. I can't find myself. And so even taking your shoes off and like grounding yourself. So there has to be a little bit of willpower there that actually wants and desires to care for oneself. And like we've spoken about, it's like that has to come when the love is enough to become the etymology of discipline is to be a disciple of oneself. So that has to be intact first, right? Like
Mm.
to desire that. But like even I've done um treatments to people where I lay them on the ground and I cover them with stones.
Mm.
For people who have had a lot of abuses and like really have disassociated. And then, how do you feed your diet? Like eat potatoes, like from the earth, things that ground, root
Mm.
vegetables. Like the cures are very simple, to be honest. The
It's
cures are very simple.
I've been blown away by how simple they are. And I'm like, are you
Simple,
kidding
simple.
me? I've
No.
gone my whole life without taking my shoes off.
Yeah, no. No, totally. No, it's pretty wild, but in this moment, like we were talking about before, of like what is happening, it's nothing less, at least this is how I feel, of a reclamation of what we already know.
Heck yeah.
Like we're sick, rest. Drink water. Like drink water, you know? And even like bathing in flowers, bathing in herbs, bathing
Mm.
in salt. These are like ancient remedies for probably all traditions if you go back long enough.
Yeah.
It's not even like my one neighbor who's, we're just very different. She's like, "You're such a witch." I'm like, "All I said was to drink broth." You know? I'm like, "Girl, what is going on with you?"
It's literally like be human.
No, and she's like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Oh my God. Well, okay, I'm a witch." Or but the cures are simple. And one thing that is a really good way that you can engage is have a glass of water in the morning, pour some on the earth, say thank you.
Mm.
Just
Oh.
start with that and see what it does for your life.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I really like it's like every day I'm just like, man, how do I help the people that I care about see that they just need to drink some water and put their feet on the grass, you know? And I see a lot of people are so stressed out. They're overwhelmed by their jobs and their financial situation and their family situation and their health situation. It's like, and they think, the thought of healing to them is like so overwhelming. It's like, oh, I don't have the time to do that. I don't have the money to do that. I can't go to some retreat far off. It's like, you
Mm-hmm,
don't have to do those things. Like, drink a glass of water every morning and go
mm-hmm,
outside, look at the sun, put your feet on the grass. Like, it's the mind-blowing thing to me, or maybe like the first thing that caught my attention about how incredible nature is for healing is like you could be in the depths of your deepest depression, feeling awful, and you can just go outside and lay on the ground and just notice how it's supporting you.
mm-hmm,
Notice that the earth is holding you and giving you this space to just lay down.
mm-hmm,
And it's so generous. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to earn it. You don't
mm-hmm,
have to deserve it. It's just like
mm-hmm,
endless offering of healing.
mm-hmm.
And we just go about our day not even noticing.
Yeah, and I would add to that is like this illusion that there's no time, and there is this acceleration that is real. Like we're all like like
Yeah.
being, it's like there is an acceleration that feels very true to me, and it's also an illusion. So it's like, so I've been really sharing in my classes and with people I work with is like this sacred pause. And
Mm,
this is a big teaching for me too. I teach what I'm also in process with and what I've learned. It's like all at the same time because you teach what you need.
yeah.
So I know that very well. And so it's like, even if it's 5 minutes, how do you wake up in the morning? Do you check your phone and look at the news? Or like, how do you wake up? And like, these are also the gateways for your day, is like how you wake up, you're opening the door to your day. So even if it's thank you, just thank you for my life. Thank you. I woke up in a comfortable bed. Thank you that there's food in the refrigerator. Thank you that I have clean water. Thank you that my family's healthy. Whatever it is, a minute, but just arrive. Then do what
Mm.
you need to do. And then at night, you want to lock up the gate. So your dream world is you as you move into that, you're also protected, and then it's a thank you for my day. For me, it's like, please forgive me all the ways that I forgot again. So sorry about that. Better luck tomorrow. And 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 so like those gateways, like the morning and the evening, and this connection to the earth, like you're saying, like take your shoes off. And if you live in the city, you know, sit on a park bench. I mean, there's parks, or even it's that waking up and going to sleep, or even if it's laying on your apartment floor for 2 minutes and just having conscious breath. But
Mm.
without these like anchors, people are getting really tossed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really unpleasant to say the least. It's very
I'm
uncomfortable.
very uncomfortable to, and so with this like relationship with the earth, it's fundamental for feeling anchored while the earth and all of humanity is in this process together. Like you better know what anchors you, that's real. It's like with
Mm.
my son, it's like with all the electronics and all of that, like I keep him woodworking. I keep him like my kids play instruments, like things that are real, that are tangible, that are with their hands, that are connect their body, like keep them physically active, like things that anchor them to life.
Beautiful.
And so and that's important for all of us, to like what anchors you to the ground. And are you unanchored? And why are you unanchored? And as you know, that's an inquiry in itself. And is your
Yeah.
rejection or disconnect to the earth have to do with your own mother? As we
Mm.
know, that's at the core for most people. Mother, father. Yeah.
Wow. Um, You know, one of the things I'm very interested in right now and just like so hungry to learn, and it seems quite obvious that the indigenous traditions from anywhere have like the most wisdom to offer. I know you've spent a lot of your path has been on this indigenous wisdom, really understanding like how to deepen, like I'm asking for personal advice here,
Yeah.
how to deepen my relationship with the earth because it's very clear to me that there's a lot of information, like tangible, practical information about, for example, like which plants might heal which problems, or very
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of different information. And I'm very wanting to receive. I'm wanting to. mm, Maybe steward is like a better word. I want to receive and offer and be like a conduit of that information. And I'm hungry to deepen my relationship with the earth directly. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious if you can give me some tips or
Mm-hmm.
anything I can do that'll
I'm
help with that.
thinking about this exercise that my daughter did in this plant wisdom class that we had for her homeschool class, and where you sit by a plant, you just sit with her and just listen
Mm.
and just listen, and then you just write like whatever comes up, and part of this, and in my reclamation, is getting out of the way, is that like knowing that actually, uh, I mean, thank God for my elders. Thank God for everything I've been given. And everyone has access. Everyone has access. It's just there's some people that are further along in the path or have different information that helps bring you further into wholeness in yourself. And thank God for all of them. And I'm super grateful. And it's like sitting by the plant and listening. It's like just past couple weeks, like all of a sudden, I think for the first time, I was just telling this to my sister on my women's retreat this past week. I'm like looking at the trees, and all of a sudden, like I was like really seeing them as beings. Like
Mm.
really, like I was like, oh, something opened for me, you know, like really seeing them, like seeing faces in the trees, seeing, and that was something new for me, you know, and I
Beautiful.
would also say, as long as you have a sincere desire, and the sincere desire isn't lazy, like it's a continual sincere desire, it arrives, you know? So even like you were saying, laying down and just listening to the call of the birds, what, like just feeling into like, for you, what is the meaning, you know? And allowing that exploration, because I think a lot of people, they've been told they don't know, they don't think they can know, they have to be told by an elder, they have to be, it's like just allowing for possibility in that relationship.
Oh, so many things you say give me goosebumps. I'm so excited right now. Oh man. Oh gosh, I just want to like shout from the rooftops what you just said. And it's I definitely I didn't know that I could listen. I didn't know that I could listen. It's so incredible to me because, as I shared, I've spent my entire life deeply immersed in the spiritual path. And I didn't know really until, well, it was kind of a threefold combination of the Compassion Inquiry program, which first taught me to listen to my body, which I had never even attempted to do before. I couldn't even think of a reason why I should listen to my body. So funny. And then the plant medicine work, and then internal family systems. Internal family systems is really key for me because it's all about listening. For me, the compassionate inquiry was more like noticing, like, okay, I'm noticing
Mm-hmm.
these different
Mm-hmm.
sensations in my body, which was monumental for me and extremely important in integrating and anchoring and grounding, all the things we just talked about. But then to actually like listen for mm, a message. I had never even tried. Like I don't know what, like I always, maybe the way I would pray was always more like one way, you know, one way
No,
communication.
but what you're saying is like the heart of it. Like most people don't even know that they can do that, you know? Because
It's so simple.
somewhere we've been like through the patriarchy, through all of it, like it's been washed away. It's like women with birthing, like somehow we've outsourced so much of our own inner wisdom to like the medical institution, to the medical system now tells us how it is to birth. And but we know in ourselves somewhere beyond what people are telling us. We know when our child is not feeling well, and we know, like it's like with mothering is the most exciting part of mothering for me always, is
Mhm.
just the intuitive part of it. And that's what I always share with like women who are becoming new mothers. I'm like, don't let anyone tell you you don't know, because you know, and you
Heck
know,
yeah.
mama knows best, you know. And if it's coming from a clean and clear place and not a wound, it's like I love knowing. I was like, they're like, no, your kid is fine. I'm like, in 5 minutes, this child is about to break down. And it's like, no one can tell me differently. I know. I can feel what is happening with them, you know? And it's that
Yeah.
same reclamation within prayer, it's that same reclamation with the earth. It is like that deep inner wisdom that has been co opted out, that something's outside of ourselves.
Yes. Yes. I couldn't be more excited right now because, while I see, of course, the world crumbling and all that, what I also see is that everything that people granted authority to, everything that people said, oh, I'll trust that that thing or that person or that system or that AI or that whatever it is, that thing will answer my question. That thing will give me the truth. That thing will solve all my problems in life. And what do you know? They're not, they're not solving your problems. They're not giving you the truth. They're
Mhm.
not doing anything
Mhm.
for you. And I feel like it has to get to a point where it's just like so in people's face, like stop looking for the answers outside of yourself. Stop looking for authority outside of yourself. Find it inside of yourself. And so while obviously it's a very painful experience for all these things to break down for people, it's also so exciting to me. And I feel like AI is the best example of like why we all have to like really like, okay, if we just talk about AI alone and no other topic, you can already see like you have to learn discernment. You have to learn how to trust your intuition because if you don't, you're going to have no way to know what's real or what's true. But then it's
It
like that's already the
totally.
case. That's already the case.
No, 100%.
and
100%. I'm totally with you on that.
and
And uh,
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was like, I talk about this with like my class a lot. It's like there was a time period where Shakti pot was necessary, right? Like there was a period where masters could like open people up. And that was a time period. Like everything has its decade, maybe let's say. And this is self-initiation, period. And the Shakti pop period's over. People are like, yeah, yes, you can get wisdom and maybe something opens something for you, but the ring of fire that you have to go through is your own self-initiation. And I've really like even with like you can bring the horse to water. Is that the
Mhm.
that, it's like even within my practice or with people, or I've really, um, people have to hold the rope for themselves.
Mm.
And hopefully you have a really good council of people around you and community to support your spiritual emergency, however it looks, but everyone has to do it for themselves. And that's why, like, when we were talking, these simple practices, like, I really try and make it easy for people so they don't fail and then self flog and do all the things and get
Yeah.
depressed and then they're I failed again, all the belief systems that get fed and the stories that attach to them. It's like drinking the water. Start slow, start simple, build up that endurance inside of yourself.
Mm.
And once you make those gestures towards the earth, gestures towards yourself, you get gold coins in your spiritual
Mhm.
bank. And that builds your faith because you see it for yourself how
Yes.
the spiritual realm, the physical realm, the emotional realm, it's real time how you can experience it. But it's like to build the faith, to build that, you've got to like put the continuous efforts, even if they're very small.
Mm. Oh,
Even if
and
it's just
my
saying thank
experience,
you.
yeah, well, my experience has been it is those very small things that have made the biggest difference in my life.
Mm-hmm,
Just what
mm-hmm,
you're saying, thinking of
mm-hmm,
something I'm grateful for at the beginning and the end of the day, drinking a glass of water, putting my feet on the earth. Like these things have
mm-hmm,
changed my life. And I feel physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually healthier than I ever have before.
mm-hmm,
And another thing I want to say, in regards to this self-initiation, it's really beautiful the way you put it. And I'm really glad you also acknowledge, hopefully you do have some support that you can, go to and ask for help, ask for encouragement, ask for whatever you need. And that's something that's been a huge part of my learning process too. And, I've always been this fiercely independent person. It's kind of like one of the maybe things I had to like overcome to really unlock my healing. I'm a seventh generation Texan. It's like it runs really deep, this feeling of independence. And so I had to learn how to ask for help. And I want to maybe highlight here the difference between asking for help and asking for someone else to be responsible for your healing process or whatever else it may be. And I had to learn how to ask for help, and it was very uncomfortable at first. But I just like, well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try asking for help. And then I did. And then what do you know? Nothing bad happened. And I was like, okay, maybe it's not as scary as I thought. And I started trying a little bit more. And then, and that had to do with just like asking people in my life for specific kinds of support. And it was kind of shocking how hard it was actually at first, but now it's quite easy for me.
Mhm.
And then now I've gotten to this very exciting phase where I've learned that not only can I ask the people around me for support, but I can ask the spirit world around me for support too. And this is pretty new to me. And one of the things that you taught me that was just been so profound to experience is the impact of requesting support or saying a prayer out loud. And
Mhm.
I never really thought to do that. I mean, I had kind of read the prayers in church out loud, the kind of standard da 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 da, but I probably wasn't really thinking about it, whatever I was saying. But to really, whatever request is so really in my heart at any given moment, to actually say it out loud
Mhm.
has been a huge change for me. And I'm so curious to hear from your perspective, like, where did you learn that, first of all? And what do you see as the benefit? Like, what has your experience been of what is the difference that it makes when you ask out loud to
Mhm.
when there's no one even in the room?
Yeah. Well, definitely my Native elders, Native American church fundamentally taught me how to pray. Absolutely. I mean, I used to go to temple, but I really looking back, it was like there was a sacred space, there was something with my family, there was a connection there, but did it really touch the place? No, it didn't really touch the place. And then um, when I went into the Native American church and people pray out loud, I did it for a while and it was very awkward
Hmm.
and disingenuous, I would even say. But I also knew that it was a new muscle that I was flexing. And we have a lot of ceremony around here. We have a lot of prayers. So I have a lot of opportunity. I've had a lot of opportunity to practice. And for me, it connects the body, the heart, the mind. Say it out loud. There's also an accountability that comes because you're hearing yourself speak, you know. And it's also for me, um, yeah, it just makes it something more real. And I know from working with women who, and I'm sure for you in your practice too, that you see this, where the tightness comes, throat,
Mm,
throat.
yeah.
I feel tightness. I feel, that comes a lot. And so just being able to speak it out loud for many people is a huge hurdle. I also find that it enables myself and people to not become lost because your eyes are
Mm,
closed, you're praying, and then most of us have unruly minds. It's not like we're
hmm.
just super focused. So I feel like people can get lost in there. So
Totally.
it also is like, okay, stay awake. You're speaking out loud. And then you start praying in front of people too, and how to like really make it potent and clear and succinct and from your heart.
Mm.
And um, you're not thinking about it. You just let it arrive and to be inspired. And yeah, so it's done all of that for me.
Wow. It's really beautiful. I definitely have noticed, yeah, when you're talking about that alignment, like it really brings everything. It's like, oh, now yeah, because like we have all these thoughts, we live in this thought world, but then kind of the way we present ourselves to the world is not always necessarily aligned with the way we are on the inside. And then it just brings
Exactly.
that, like, okay, now I'm going to express on the outer world what I'm feeling in the inner world. And it feels like it gives it this like boost, like this turbocharge. Like all of a sudden there's this energy behind it where it's like now it's moving because I said it out loud.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. And
Hmm.
I had a thought about, I wanted to say, and for people who, first of all, the word prayer is like very triggering for a lot of people. And I've
Yeah.
worked, over 25 years with, I used to teach this part of a teacher training called Spirit 101, where I was just like bringing in the thought of spirit and like what that could mean. And so when I talk about prayer, it's not about like to a religious uh like entity, when I prayer is an elevation of thought connected to
Mm.
your higher self, transmitting to, let's just say, for me, to creator, but just transmitting your higher self, your most intimate personal dreams, desires out into the world,
Mm.
in a positive way without worry. It's like taking worry and praying for trust, taking fear
Mm.
and asking to feel safe. Like, so turning the negative into a positive surge power, like you were saying, like force, like to move it forward. So saying the opposite of maybe what you keep circling around in your mind. And then so you take the negative and turn it into this positive, you know.
Beautiful.
And so a good way of like learning to pray or elevate your thoughts is to speak like you're speaking to your very best friend.
Mm.
Like my Uncle Pete Ozzy, like when he talks to creator, he's just like he is conversing. And my dad, Jake Black Bear Singer, like they they're just talking to their holy of holies best friend, you know? It's like the one who knows them the best. And that's a good way of exercising. Like just speak like you're speaking to your best friend, you know?
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm really grateful for you acknowledging that prayer is a trigger for people. And, I have this like, um, I want to say love hate, but there's not really hate involved. So I don't really know what a better word to say is, but this relationship with religion where it's been like such a core part of my life. And, I've been deeply immersed in two different religions, and both of them were incredibly positive, powerful, beneficial, meaningful experiences. I'm so grateful for them. And I can't imagine my life without them. And at the same time, I feel a deep desire uh, to help those who are wounded by religion or triggered by religion or have an allergic reaction to religion or whatever, to maybe be an example is the best word, to be an example that you don't have to adhere to some sort of concept or some sort of structure or some sort of system. And that doesn't mean that you are against any religion or that you don't believe in those things. It just means that it's not required. It's not a requirement to be in a particular religious paradigm, or you can be if you want to be, if that helps you. But I'm eager to, one of the things that I kind of want to just like shake off for all of humanity is this, it's like do whatever you want. If you like religion, go for it. And
Yeah.
if you don't, then go sit with the plant and, talk to it. And that's just as good.
Yeah.
I guess that the judgment factor is like what I'm really eager to just like, get away.
Yeah. Yeah. And because so many religions also put the fear
Yeah.
that if you don't believe, from a very young age, that if you don't do it this way, something serious is going to happen to you. So it's like, and I believe that with all the systems too, the educational system, the healthcare system, government, it's like this, like we've been in these abusive relationships for so long of like that, like these, I think religions at their core are like they're all have the same morality, like love your neighbor as yours as thyself, don't steal. It's like they're all the same. Tell the truth. Like don't be a glutton, like be in service to one another. Like the tenets of religion are good. The tenets of how the education system started maybe are good. The tenets of the medical system are good. Of maybe the government, we're good, like. And so, but it's like reclaiming what is true for us in that.
Yes.
And that's really the morality. That's really the connection. That's the love. And so that's where I want to resonate is or that's where I feel good in spaces. I don't like people telling me what to do, especially especially if it's not good for the goose, it's not good for the gander or whatever that is. Like you see so many people saying one thing and doing the opposite. So it's like really finding that place that's authentic for you to feel connected. And maybe that's on the dance floor. I am a huge
Yeah.
proponent of dance parties. And it's like I like to move and I feel really connected there. And for a lot of people now their spiritual healing is coming from the investigation of the sensual. Like that's really
Mm.
opening up for people. Is that my line? Not really, but I can appreciate it. Like the tantra, I can appreciate the different aspects, and everyone has a different medicine and a different dharma and a different like purpose for their spirit being here that no one else on the planet can take that spot. And so it's what you were like taking, like that shaking off of like what's possible, what's right, what, because we've just been sold different ways. And right now what I feel more than anything is like ancient and future. I take what my elders tell me and I respect it, and it's been fundamental. And on my women's retreats, like I am really free. And if there's a ritual that needs to come through that feels organic, that feels like the spirit is there, I'm doing it. And I feel really guided and good. And that's that like ancient and future and the respect for both and the expansion and like prayer, elevated thought. We need to like keep expanding the circle of positivity and
Love. Yeah.
openness and love and connection. And that looks different for everyone.
Heck yeah. Oh man, what I hear you describing is allowing it to be a living thing,
Exactly.
allowing it to live through you. And I feel more compelled all the time to just really express my gratitude for my experiences in religion because they have been so helpful. But maybe if I had to kind of put it in like a storyline, what I would say is those experiences gave me like they were like my basic training of just, like be kind, don't lie,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Learning how to calm my mind a bit. But then I feel like, and it was, I'm sure not coincidentally, at the same time my depression showed up, it was like, okay, now what happens if we take all that away? Like, what did you learn? Can you apply it when life gets difficult and you don't have all these religious ideas or religious people or religious whatever? Like, it just, the circumstances of my life manifest in such a way that's like, okay, now all of that is gone. What did you learn? What are you going to do? What did you learn? Can you do it?
I
Can you
I
live?
I totally like have been talking about this as well as like, so if your practices are not supporting you right now, like okay, so I know a lot of very spiritually oriented people, and I would say even in COVID, like very spiritually oriented people, and then it was like horrific, vitriol, and I'm like, so what are these practices doing actually? Like what?
Yeah.
Like that's my question. Like, so maybe there needs to be an update because when shit gets real, how is your spiritual life? How is your spiritual orientation actually supporting you? And if it is not, I would suggest opening up to other possibilities. Because if you're doing a lot of work and you're doing all these things, and then you still don't feel like it has your back, what is it doing? You know, what is it doing? And also, anyone in the name of God that like promotes violence, I'm sorry, we're off.
Yeah, right.
I made a post or whatever, like many, I don't know, several weeks ago. It was like, let's just like walk it back. Like killing is wrong. Okay. So like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter who you're killing. And also, if you're celebrating killing, or the demise of any other, you're celebrating the demise of anyone, it's something to inquire about. Where
Yeah.
is your, where is there something encrusted on your morality? You know? And so this is
Yeah.
like all part of it, like prayer, like how is it feeding you? How is it supporting your life? How are the friends and the counsel that you have supporting your life? Do they whisper good things into your ear, or do you keep going into a circle? And it can be a real reevaluation when people start praying and start connecting in a deeper, more authentic way, that things get moved around.
Hmm.
Spirit comes in and just, you go here, you go there, this person's leaving. Okay, let's go.
That is a theme of our current moment, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah, it's another thing that I see happening that's really exciting is so many people are turning toward, I don't even want to use the word spiritual because there are people that never thought of themselves as a spiritual person. They never, they just kind of did their job and went home and fed their family and whatever. But their worlds are opening up to this maybe a good word is like to what's beyond the physical, to what's beyond the five senses, to what's beyond what we can actually see, and to realize like, oh, there's a lot more there. It's like
Mhm,
endless what more
mhm,
is there. And to see
mhm,
people opening up to that in new ways is so exciting.
mhm,
And to see it happening in this moment where we're also, daily being reminded by the feedback of the world to not outsource our authority. Don't don't give the authority to someone else to decide whether this is true, whether it's right for you, whether you believe in it, blah blah blah. And I'll also say to kind of bring it back to like the basics. I think the first thing, I mean, suffering was maybe the first thing. Suffering helped me get on this path for sure. It has a way of doing that. Um, and as I tried to find my way through the dark cave, the first thing I had to learn how to do was to just notice what was happening in my body.
Mhm,
And it was mind blowing for me to see that I had spent my entire life not noticing what was happening in my body. And it was mind blowing for me to see that there was an enormous amount of information, very helpful information that my body was providing me in every moment. And I just hadn't been paying any attention to it. And I don't think I've gotten anywhere near. Again, still feel like I'm just scratched the surface on like the amount and the quality of the information that we can receive directly from our body.
mhm.
I'm curious for someone who maybe gets curious about, hearing that description and they want to start trying it out. They're like, "Huh, I wonder what my body's trying to tell me." What kind of things would you recommend for people to connect with their body that maybe haven't before?
Well, one of the exercises, especially for women, that I give a lot, which I think, I, I mean, I see more and more, is to go through the day and notice their yes and their no.
Mm,
Like how many times they say yes when they meant no, just to note it. It doesn't mean they have to change it yet, but or ever. That's up to them. But notice when there's a yes and just like feel, take a second just to feel. And when they say no, but they mean yes. And like that means when they even eat food, when they want to go to sleep, all the way yeses and nos play with the intuition and to really get curious, excited, open to seeing how much they override their body's wisdom. Because I like to share the voice, the wisdom's always there, but the wisdom voice gets very quiet when you don't listen to it over and over and over. And it's almost like a very soft wind. You have to really like, but as you listen to it, it grows. And then, I've always been pretty like in my instinct. And that's also by the great incredible parenting of my parents. I have really good family, which is like just totally rare to say. Not that there wasn't stuff, not that there's not things to work out,
Sure.
but they really like appreciated me and loved me and were there. And they were, my instinct stayed pretty intact. I wasn't sexually
Beautiful.
abused, which was like a miracle with women. And so that would be to really listen to that, because then you can be guided and not have to be think so much from your brain. You just like you just know. So
Yeah.
that exercise is one that I really share a lot.
Beautiful.
And it's been super helpful for people. And yeah, so that's the first
Yeah.
thing I would say.
And it's amazing because the body doesn't lie. Anyone who's been experienced anything awful, which, we all have at some level, um,
Mm-hmm,
it gets really hard to trust anything or anyone or any piece of information. And
mm-hmm,
and I think now we're in the most confusing time ever, perhaps. And so it's like there's this almost desperation for finding sources of information that can be trusted. And I think that there's no better source than our own body because it just doesn't
totally,
lie. It just
totally.
doesn't lie.
And I would
Ah,
I would also say that the body is like a really incredible metaphor. Like illness for me is a component of mind, body, spirit. Like people can believe whatever they want, but that's my belief. It's so firm in me that I cannot separate it and I will not separate it. So, it's like even the way disease comes into the body, what part of the body does it touch? For women with the breast, with the uterine, with like what's their family history, or men, like to really think about, for me, illness is wellness, right? It's the body's way, it's purifying. It's not actually sick, it's trying to be well. So it's
mhm.
manifesting the disease or symptom that is blocking. So I think of it more as like a messenger. I'm like more into like terrain theory than I am germ theory, like that the inner terrain, however it is, emotionally, spiritually, physically, gets affected by what, you know,
Mhm.
it brings you further towards wellness. So even like, where are the aches and pains? Like, what are, like, we learned in compassionate inquiry, and I'm sure IFS is like, what are you shouldering? When what your jaw's tight, what are you biting down on? Like some simple inquiry into the body, or even waking up, saying thank you, and then like, what do you need?
Mm.
What do you need? And listening, you know, those simple things. What's your yes? What's your no? What do you need? Like to just check in with yourself. And I know, and as you know too, because you're a beautiful therapist, is really like, for people, it's triggering to even ask themselves a question for many people,
Mhm.
just to even allow themselves to have that intimate moment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's profound actually how intimidating and threatening the simple act of noticing what's going
Totally.
on inside of us. And another thing that just continues to blow my mind more and more every day is that just noticing
Mhm.
might be like enough. Just like I
No,
keep having that
totally,
thought because it's
totally.
like, as I think you observed me times, like, and I think most of us have this, particularly in the West, where it's like, okay, we have to fix the thing, we have to solve the problem, we have to reach the goal, we have to like accomplish something. And so this thought of like, well, just noticing, it's like, well, that's not going to do anything. I think it might do like 95% of the work is just noticing.
I would agree
And
with you.
I can't, it's like, it's so simple that I find it difficult to even, describe in words. Maybe like a very practical example that can maybe help people if confused what I'm talking about, notice is like with food, for example, people are trying to like go on diets or change this or that. Or it's always about like forcing the self to change something, which for me is not helpful at all. If I
Yeah.
feel any degree
Mhm.
of force, I'm like shut
Yeah.
down.
Right.
Um,
Well, because where is it coming from?
yeah, right.
Is it coming from like not loving yourself, or is it
Exactly.
like, yeah.
Exactly. So all these like self-help, go to the gym, eat this or that, like people try to enforce these things on themselves and I don't think that forcing the self to get better can ever result in the self getting better. I feel like it all comes from cultivating genuine compassion for yourself because then you want to eat well, then you want to do whatever. So just, something as simple as just like noticing when you're choosing not to meet your own needs. Noticing when you're like, you know what, I'm hungry, but I should do this other thing instead. Just noticing it. Doesn't mean you have to like, okay, I better put my things down and go make myself a meal. Like just notice that you did that. Just notice it.
Totally.
But the example I wanted to give was actually with eating. Just noticing, like if people are really trying to make a big shift in diet, which I think can be pretty difficult, if they just noticed every time they ate, like how they felt 20 minutes later. You don't have to change anything. Just notice.
100%.
And then
Or
naturally,
why they're going for, like this one beautiful client I have, and she was like, when she gets stressed, she would eat a certain food, and just like bring like the awareness of when she's eating that, to have the consciousness that she knows she's eating it because she's feeling sad. Not to stop eating it, but like what you're talking about, this simple awareness. Healing is all just awareness of the thing.
yes.
When I tell people, I'm like, it's just the awareness. Like it's an awareness game. That's what I say. It's like
Yes,
the
well said.
more you can become conscious of these little things with compassion, they stop having power on you.
Yes, with compassion.
With
That
compassion.
I don't think I really cracked the nut on the compassion thing until I started doing internal family systems. And um there's two things I'll share that were really pivotal. The first is like this whole concept of, for example, let's say you get stressed and you reach for a cookie. And first of all, to just notice that you did that, notice that you're reaching for a cookie because you're stressed. But then to notice, like, okay, well, what's the motivation here? The motivation is to give me a little bit of relief from this
Totally.
stress so I
Mm-hmm.
can say thank you. I
Yeah.
say thank you to
Yeah.
myself. Thank you for wanting me to have a little bit of relief
Yeah.
instead of like, you're so awful. You ate another cookie. You're supposed to be on a diet or,
Yeah.
whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
just say thank you. And then as that love starts to build from that genuine gratitude, they're like, oh, guess what? There's some part of me that doesn't want me to suffer. How
Mhm,
wonderful is that?
mhm,
Then it's like the love just slowly starts to grow just through noticing and
mhm,
saying thank you.
mhm,
The other thing I'll share that was another one of these like really uh, significant breakthrough moments for me was in my actually I don't know I guess I haven't told you this. Before I started IFS training, I had decided that I was going to quit coaching
mhm,
because I was just like, I don't get it. I'm not helping anybody. I can't,
mhm.
I don't understand how anyone's supposed to heal. I was just had no confidence in anything. I was just ready to give up. But I had gotten into this program, which, there's like a 40,000 person
Yeah,
waiting list or
yeah.
something. And I had somehow gotten in and I'd already paid for it. So I was like, well, I'm going to quit, but I already paid for the training. So I guess I'll just do it. The first day of the training, they have us just doing some little, it's probably like a 10-minute exercise where we went inside and listened to what was being said. And little did I know that I had not been listening. And the experience I had, have you ever read the Dr. Seuss book, Horton Hears a Who?
Yeah.
There's like these little beings and they have like this big megaphone thing that they
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
scream. So it was like all of these little parts, little bitty parts were down there and they were trying so hard to like scream through this little megaphone. Like they were screaming at the top of their lungs as loud as they could, like all together, like everybody, let's all do it at once so she hears us. And it was like the tiniest, tiniest little whisper from my perspective. Um, but what they said was, "We love you."
My God, that's so cute.
And I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that there was love inside for me. I knew I loved everyone around me and I knew I loved my life, but I didn't know that there was love inside for me." And it changed everything. And as I started to notice, like, wow, there's love in there for me.
Mhm.
Because I
That's
had
so beautiful.
it was so beautiful and it changed everything for me. And it made me want to listen. And it made me realize that like I have no idea
Mhm.
what I'm gonna hear, what I'm gonna find it. Because I was completely surprised. It was like the last thing I ever expected. And it's so funny because it sounds so like, just oh, of course you love yourself or whatever. But it's
Mhm.
like I really had no idea. And it
Mhm.
and it came from as you pointed out earlier, first deciding, having the will, deciding that I wanted to listen to what was going
Mhm.
on inside
Mhm.
and just giving it a chance, seeing
Mhm.
what happened.
Mhm.
Oh man, it feels good to share that experience. It
Yeah.
was it was a really
It's
big
I
one
lo-
for me.
I love the Dr. Seuss, like that whole visual is so cute.
It was so endearing, like how hard, like they were really trying so hard to get me to hear them. It was like, wow, how long have they been trying to tell me that? And I haven't been listening.
Well, I have to tell you, my session that I had with you with the IFS when you were in the training, I think you were in the train or you were like still in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
program.
I think so.
That was really healing for me. Like I
Wow.
really had an awesome experience and I utilized what you taught me just in that session of just really naming everything that was happening inside of me at once. And for you opening that space for me to just like speak all of the things that were happening at once was really cathartic on some
Wow.
deep level and was very helpful for me. And I have not forgotten it. Like I had never really done that in that way. And it was just like super freeing to allow
Wow.
just all of that to just be named. Just that alone. Like just name it all.
Heck
And
yeah. That's so
so
great to hear. Thank you for
yeah,
sharing that.
yeah.
I actually remember that was about a year ago, I think. And
Hmm.
I remember afterwards feel like that feeling, which I don't get anymore, thankfully, but I remember at that time feeling that like, oh, like I didn't do it right. I didn't do a good job. Like Alison didn't get anything out of that. And then I remember you sent a message that you I think I've even apologized to you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that I screwed up so bad. But then, and I think the compassion inquiry program was really good at teaching that, you know, it's not up to me to decide what someone else needs in their healing
Totally.
process. And it's not up
Totally.
to me to evaluate whether or not they got something meaningful out of it or not. Because I've now seen that even if a client gets like really upset with me and they think that I'm doing horrible things to them, like
Hmm.
sometimes that ends up being an experience that's really helpful for them to sort through whatever it is they're
Hmm.
sorting through. Not that I ever
Hmm.
am wanting to harm clients or,
Yeah.
but to really to I no longer feel like it's my job to decide what other people need. I'm just
Hmm.
here to support them and finding for themselves what they need.
No, totally. And you don't know how something affects them, you
Yeah.
know. because it can just be the most subtle kindness. And people
Mm.
are so hungry for just being held that, yeah, no, that's been a lesson that I've learned as well, you know.
Speaking of subtleties, one of the things that I've been noticing more and more is the breath
Mm-hmm.
and the extent to which just noticing the breath. But, I get, again, kind of on a theme we were sharing earlier, I get so discouraged when people think that like they have to go learn some particular technique and they have to do it a certain way and they have to do it for a certain amount of time every day and they have to go study with someone special. And it's like, just take a breath, like just notice the breath throughout the day. Um, and of course, I do think that the practices and so on are profound and great. And if people do want to structure their life in that way and be disciplined about it, I think that's absolutely wonderful. I just don't want people to feel limited by that idea that like they have to
Mm-hmm.
do it in a certain way. Um, so I would love to just hear you speak a little bit about how the breath in a general way can support us in our healing process or just just being human. And then also I'd love to see if you can just share one
Mm-hmm.
technique with us that we can use if we feel overwhelmed at any given moment.
So, we're born into an inhale and we pass
Mm.
away and we transition and leave this body on an exhale, you know. And I had the great fortune to be with my father when he passed. And
Mm.
I was with him, with my brother and sister and mother. And I was really observing as a daughter, as a teacher, as all of it at once, like just really being able to be that up close and personal with the passing. And that really informed something very deep in me, also about spirit and a whole other thing. But just as far as the breath, this is the breath is how we exist. So, how could it not have power? Like, that's how I'm able to communicate. That it's everything. It's the breath of life. It's like how it is
Mm.
everything. So when I do transformational breath work with people, I'm like, what's so profound is it brings them in this altered state, and it's all up to them, and they're the ones doing the speed, and they're the ones. I'm like, you want to take the ship back down, just slow it down. It's up to you. No one's here telling you what to do. But it's really important to understand that the breath can help support you in such a profound way, and you can actually soar through different realms just utilizing your breath. And yes, there's
Mm.
no there's techniques and everything, but no one has it trademarked. I'm sorry. Just like yoga, movement, all of it. Like, yes, there's different systems, but you can't really trademark any of this stuff. It's for all of us. It's ancient, you know. So I would just say, this is like a really good thing to do. Is like for people who are feeling really stuck to even set an alarm on their phone for like once an hour to just remind them to take 5 deep breaths.
Mm.
Just a little ding. Just put the training wheels on. Then maybe you go to every other hour just to presence yourself and even be connected to where the breath is flowing in your body. Usually if we have anxiety, it's like all up here and it's very hard to get into the belly. If we struggle more with depression, sometimes the breath is very low or heavy, and we want to increase the breath into our sternum and under our collarbones and bring it up, you know, to help move that more energy like this. Um, so I mean, it's everything. It's everything
Mm.
and a part of, the wholeness. But without it, we no longer exist. So it's definitely something to become curious about, and
Yeah.
can bring great health and great wisdom about what is going on inside. I mean, we know from like the somatic sessions, you know, people start talking about their mother and it's like, oh, like all sorts of stuff starts happening through the breath as the
Mm-hmm.
body is releasing. And so to just become conscious of how it's even moving or that it's even moving in your
Mm.
body is a huge step forward, And I also think the breath for me is if you don't have a spiritual anchor, here is a divine conversation inside of you that's
Mm.
happening, the inhale and the exhale, the masculine and the feminine, the active and the surrender, the sun and the moon. It's creator's perfect because the examples are all around us to show us impermanence, to show us the different forces of energy. It's just like we're very dense beings who, don't want to life, death, rebirth, all of it is
Mm.
all in there that you can observe. And you can calm your own nervous system. You can regulate your own nervous system. You can bring health and vitality. You can cool your body down. You can heat your body up. I mean, it's endless. It's your own interior mini split. And you don't even have to pay $3,000 to get it put
There you go.
in.
There you go. Well, I have two more questions for you that really we've already touched on quite a bit, but maybe I could challenge you to answer them in like 3 sentences.
Okay.
And before I ask them, would you be willing to just take us through maybe just like a minute of a guided breath
Yeah.
practice?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So one breath practice that I feel is just super helpful and simple for finding equilibrium or balance when needed is the box breath or the season breath is the a 4 count and you need to count it for yourself so you keep it even all through the nose, inhaling for 4 counts and then you hold for 4 counts, just and the holding is I like to is more of like an expansion. You're just savoring the
Mm,
moment.
mm.
You're not tightening. It's like if you could imagine you swallowed the full moon, like you're expanding, right? And then you exhale for 4 counts and then you hold out at the bottom. And like the inhale is the spring, the holding at the top is the summer, the exhale is the fall, and the holding out is the winter. Or it could be
Mm.
the 4 directions, or however you want to think about it. Or maybe you just don't think about any of that at all and you just count. But you do that for even 3 minutes, even a minute. The inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. The pausing, 1, 2, 3, 4. The letting go, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the holding out in emptiness, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you begin again, all through the nose. And this is like just really helpful for just bringing the parts into balance, right? So that's like a very
Beautiful.
simple one that simple, but not simple, because it takes a lot of people a lot to even count to 4 and stay focused.
Yeah, I do find it very helpful, like particularly when, we're in those moments of feeling overwhelmed, maybe feeling panicked even, to have like a very simple but very clear method,
Yeah. Yes.
four, four, four,
Or
four,
4.
four, 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 four. And the seasons thing is really beautiful. I hadn't heard that before, and it really expands the whole thing, the whole experience for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll ask 2 questions for you. What does sovereignty mean to you?
Sovereignty means to me that I am in charge, responsible, accountable for my actions, what I want to do with my body, how I want to pray, how I want to be in this world as long as it does not harm. Because the intention is not to harm anyone else. So it's the nothing less than the full reclamation of my inner knowing.
Mm, beautiful. And what is your vision of the world that you know is possible?
My vision without any editing, and maybe people will think this is just too far out, but I don't care. You have to envision it for it to be possible. And I know that was more than 3 sentences. Um, Waves of forgiveness like we've never seen before that
Mm,
will blanket the earth and create cataclysmic positive love, like overflowing of love and connection like we've never seen, abundance and prosperity for all beings, for our children to be safe and held, for there to be clean water for all beings, good food for all beings, and um, that we can really claim this like rainbow prophecy of everyone remembering that no one is better than anyone else and that we are all equal and we can and celebrate one another.
Hear, hear. Thank you so much for everything you are doing to usher this world into being. It's so beautiful, and it's really an honor to be your friend and your sister. Thank you for being here. And is there anywhere you want to point people if they want to connect with you more, or learn more about your work or anything?
So I have a website, AlisonSinatra.com, and that shares my offerings. You get like one email a month sometimes where I write about things that I'm feeling that sometimes are controversial, but it's my email list, so I can do with it what I want. And
Hell
then
yeah.
I had to get through that. Like, no, this is my email list. Why am I editing myself? Okay. So then, but now I'm through that. And also on Instagram, Alison.Sinatra. And I don't post a ton, but I do post when I have classes and, retreats coming up. And yeah, and that's a good way to find me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I look forward to being in this new world with you.
And me too, Carl. Thank you so much.